Hello everyone, this is Ines and I am an ASAP college assistant and I'm here with Stephanie. Stephanie, do you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, my name's Stephany Alejandra Pineda Cardoso. I'm 19 years old and I'm majoring in communications. I am a little bit about my identity. I am Mexican. I was born in Mexico and I immigrated when I was 7 years old. So I am currently in my transfer process from BMCC.
Where are you transferring to?
Well, I have a few choices in mind. I am currently part of the Gallatin Guide program at NYU. And so through this program, I have the chance to pursue social justice and make my own interdisciplinary study, which is something I look forward to. However, I do have in mind Baruch and their communications program. So we'll see where it goes, and I'm very excited to start this new path towards my bachelor's degree.
Why communication?
Well, I chose communications in effort to unite my passion for business and the arts, specifically dance, theater, um, art, and it was funny because that's not at all where I went. I just thought that communications would take me in a world of media and television, and I ended up really when I took linguistics, critical thinking, interpersonal communications, all these classes, I realized that I was very interested in analyzing the relationship between humans and our evolvement in behavior, how our identity develops over time. So I became interested in social justice just by taking those few classes. And yeah, this is where I am now. I like studying interpersonal relationships, how we evolve, and not only that, but I think I found a way to incorporate the arts, my writing. I have a lot of personal projects in which I post on my website, and that's a way I could join both of my interests into one degree.
That sounds very interesting. And I'm really curious to know a little bit more. You said you're interested in social justice in general, and maybe that's kind of like a perfect start to get us to our main focus. And I wanted to ask you, what is one problem that you care about in the world and would like to change?
So, this my interest in social justice. To answer your first question, was it kind of was born from me coming to the United States and not knowing the language, not knowing the culture, and not having any family to come to. So when I came here, it was basically just my mom and me. And within school, I really had nowhere to run to, no one to get help with. I never found another person that was just like me. And my mom wasn't really there for me because she didn't speak the language. She couldn't really help me in anything. Um, Not only was I having problems at school, but at home as well. We didn't have a place to live. We would sleep on the floor sometimes. So I think all these challenges and try to understand who I am, who I wanted to be. It was very difficult at first, and so it took me a long time to truly understand where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do with my life, what was I part of, because I think once you don't know who you are and you finally find one little piece of identity you belong to, you really want to get attached to it. So I think my identity and my affiliations have really evolved over time. When I specifically took classes like linguistics, social justice to me was helping other people who have felt like me find a path towards what they want to achieve, help them find their own path and help them feel empowered, just like I wanted to feel empowered. And that comes to the main question, where is what do I want to change in the world? And to me, it's improving the education of all children, not even only in the United States, but all children around the world. Because I think the foundation of many social issues come within what we've learned in our households, in schools, in so many other places. So if we could somehow empower our children to really have all the tools, not just about math, not just about science, but truly how people work and how relationships between humans work, if we could show them that path, they will get to figure it out, not when they get to college like I did, but way before that. And by starting at the root, we can start fixing other social issues. So that's just what I'm interested in.
That is interesting. So, would you say that you are interested about maybe improving a certain education for a certain age group, or what kind of education are we talking about?
So, for example, I I have a little sister. She's 12. I always get confused with her age, but she's 12. And so I'm always trying to teach her about everything that's going on in the world with police brutality and all of the things we've seen recently. So I think her age group, starting from elementary school, is a perfect age group to start teaching them basic things, just basic things about mutual respect, about why we should respect everyone, teach them about history and the true history of the United States, not just what's in textbooks, but truly what oral history, or like we were just talking about. Because I don't know if you've heard, but the education within different states within the United States is different, and the curriculum varies. I know that there was a specific textbook in Texas that had completely different history that was manipulated because of racism and all of these things, all of this discrimination. And I think that's the main problem we need to solve within that group. But if we keep going to like high school students, even middle school students, like I know as a high school student, former high school student, um, all of my peers were interested in social justice, but we just didn't know. The only time we ever encountered readings were when we had to do essays, when we had to learn how to do essays. So the focus wasn't on the reading, the focus was on learning how to write an essay. And I think the focus needs to be on those readings about how language, race, and ethnicity interact, those readings how racism occurs systematically, those readings about discrimination and how you can be discriminated against that you won't even know it, you won't even realize microaggressions. So I think we should be aware of that, not until we get to college again, but way before that. And it should specifically be implemented in school. So I think there's like a certain things for each age group.
Hmm. And it seems that you were kind of like very interested in understanding or like making people aware of racism. Maybe can you tell me a little bit how maybe racism impacted you, or maybe if you had like maybe a certain experience with?
Well, I could tell you about like a few. I mean, I think I was always very aware of my accent and how I belittled myself. I constantly belittled myself because of my accent, the way I look, my skin tone. I remember there was a point where I was like, this year I'm not gonna go out I'm gonna try to avoid the sun as much as I can to like make my skin look a little lighter because I was way more dark than I am now. Anyways, yeah, so that's the way I was impacted by like the things I saw around me. And I was faced with this system since a very young age because I wasn't from here. So I think that's how I unconsciously internalized those like ideals of being like the perfect white American, white English. So I think those are all the things I internalized. I remember in middle school getting in trouble and being compared. I remember it was really out to say like hashtag squad to your group of friends, right? And I got in trouble, but what happened instead of like talking to us like any other students, we got because we were all Mexican, we got compared to a gang. Yeah, we got compared to a gang. Specifically a gang that's associated with being Mexican. Um, I think it was like MS-13. I don't really remember.
Mhm.
Or no, but it was by some teacher. We got compared to like I don't think I should say the name of the game, but
Mhm.
yeah, we got compared to a game, and
That's okay.
we got compared to a game, and I was basically they withdrew me from all my studies. They withdrew me from my because I was in a specialized class where because my grades were high and everything, so I was taking classes to take regents, getting ready to be like an advanced student in high school. But they basically withdrew me, and from like that, a lot of things that a middle school a middle schooler likes to do.
Mhm.
But I think those are things that those are things I don't want another student to go through.
Mhm. Wow. Stephanie, I really appreciate your honesty, and I'm sorry that maybe my question kind of made you remember so, maybe something you didn't want to remember. Um, but I really appreciate your honesty, and I really appreciate that you're putting yourself out there, and you're speaking out for maybe yourself and but others too. And maybe to look at a little bit of a brighter side, maybe you can share with us, how do you see yourself as a part of change?
Um, yeah. So as a part of change, thank you for the changing the topic. As a part of change, um, I really see myself, for example, like I try to incorporate myself as much as I can. But obviously, like we all have our separate lives. We all have like things we have to do, and I definitely understand that. I think um, I look up to all those students who could like incorporate themselves in all clubs. They're like out there. Not only they're in student government, but they're like running 3 other clubs. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I don't know how y'all could do that, but me, I personally I can't do too much pressure just because I have things going on at home as well. But the way I try to do things is not only do I express my identity of myself or things I've gone through my creative projects like writing, maybe I write some songs as well, um, poems or whatever research paper I want to do. But I also create like my own programs. So far I've during the pandemic when the pandemic started, so my mom, she's an immigrant as well. She's struggling here, out here. And basically I know what a lot of people, not only immigrants, they depend on sales. And not only from sales, maybe they don't have a safe, what you call a safe job, but they depend on sales within like selling in the streets, selling person to person, all these type of products. All of these people were left without a job when we hit quarantine and all of this. So basically, I gathered a group of people, 25 people from like mainly the United States, but also around different countries like Ecuador, Mexico, Brazil, who started joining my Zoom meetings. I did them, I believe, twice a week for like a few months, maybe 4 or 5 months, where I would show them how to use Facebook to advertise, how to use Facebook to make a Facebook page and be able to sell their products, how to use Pinterest to look for ideas. So I gave them like all these mini courses on like not only business but technology, how to use Zoom to like contact their clients and not expose themselves. And so I was able to do all these things to help them, and it felt really good. I remember not only was I able to help them, but some of them confided in me. I think I almost touched that point where they started telling me very personal things and how I was able to help them overcome that. And that was just like one way I was able to incorporate myself in what I call, I'm not only learning for myself, but I'm learning to give, learning to like help other people have the knowledge I already have. And this is an example with adults, but of course, like I I incorporate myself with other things too. But that's something I'm very proud of that I did this year. So
Well, you should be proud of that. That sounds very awesome. And you were talking earlier about how, the education should also incorporate some, maybe emotional learning and, other skills. And, it seems like that's what you're doing in your own capacity. You're giving skills that people need to survive here. Um, so that's very amazing. And I wonder if you have, maybe if you can share a piece of advice with ASAP students that are listening to you, I'm pretty sure they're going to be inspired by your story, and um, hopefully they will love it too. So if you have any advice for them.
I definitely think not giving up and learning from your mistakes. Um, I think that's one thing I could take away from everything I've been through. Um, as a child, I really had to learn how not to give up because you know these little things that like put you down because of who you look as or who you are, what's the identity of whatever you identify as. All these little things might put you down, and learning how not to give up or learning to attach yourself to something that you truly love is something that's gonna really get you where you gotta go. And I think there's many times where I felt that I had no other choice but like, you know, to look the other way and like give up in a sense. Not give up, but yeah, kind of give up. And I had to, I don't, it's hard like to accept also when you fall, when you make mistakes. It's okay. Like, it's okay. It was part of your past, and there's nothing you can do about it. All you can do is move forward and keep it going. And I think that's one thing I learned in high school. To give an example, my high school GPA was very low. It was looking like the only colleges I was going to get into what were community colleges. And community colleges aren't bad, but you know, to a high school student like me, I really thought I was like failing in a sense because coming from a straight A student from middle school, the way all of the things that happened kind of I went downhill. It was hard to come up from it. But when I got to BMCC, all I could think about is how interested I was in the subject I was studying. I was interested in the classes I was taking. I was excited about them. I was ready to go to school and learn every day. So I think my love for what I was studying made me kind of continue to climb up. And yeah, you know, I graduated with a pretty good GPA. It wasn't bad. It's like 3.8 something. And it's hard to acknowledge your mistakes, but you know, we all got this. We all out here struggling, and we're gonna do whatever we gotta do. Just like reach for your dreams. I had people put me down in my own school at times about how I couldn't make it into the Guides and Guide program, and look now I almost got into. I'm a semifinalist in the Jack Kim Cook scholarship. So yeah, just keep it going. You got this, and yeah, that's all I could say. I mean, I don't know.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything. That was very heartwarming interview for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.